Once upon a time, in the heart of the African savannah, a young lion cub named Mufasa was born. From the moment he opened his eyes, there was something special about him. His golden fur shone under the sun, and he had a strength and kindness that animals around him admired. He wasn't the biggest cub yet, but he was full of energy and curiosity, always exploring and making new friends. Mufasa lived with his family in the Pride Lands, a vast and beautiful land filled with tall grasses, sparkling rivers, and lush trees. His father, King Ahadi, was wise and respected by all animals. Mufasa dreamed of one day becoming as great a king as his father, but he wasn't sure how to start. So he asked his father one day, "What makes a king truly great?" The Lion King Ahadi smiled down at his son. "A great king isn't just strong or brave, Mufasa," he said. "A great king cares for all creatures, big and small, and treats them with respect. A king must understand that we are all connected in the circle of life." Mufasa thought about his father's words. He wanted to protect the Pride Lands and everyone in it, but he didn't yet know how he could help. One day, while playing by the river, he met a young meerkat named Timba. Timba was small and quick, and he loved to explore just like Mufasa. "Hey, Mufasa!" Timba called, his tiny eyes sparkling with excitement. "Want to explore the tall grasslands with me?" "Of course," Mufasa replied, thrilled to have a new friend to share his adventures with. As they ventured through the grasses, Mufasa felt brave and strong. But soon, they stumbled upon something unusual, a group of antelope huddling together, looking scared. "Why are they so scared?" Mufasa asked, tilting his head. Timba the meerkat whispered, "They're frightened because they saw a big, sneaky hyena. Hyenas can be very dangerous for animals like them." Mufasa the lion felt a spark of responsibility. He knew that his father would want him to help the antelope feel safe. So he puffed up his chest and walked over to the antelope. "Don't worry," Mufasa said gently. "I'll make sure the hyena doesn't bother you." He didn't know exactly what he would do if the hyena appeared, but he was determined to try. Luckily, Timba and Mufasa kept watch for a while, and eventually, the antelope felt safe enough to continue their grazing. Mufasa felt proud, realizing that even small actions could make a big difference. As the days passed, Mufasa continued to help others in small ways. He helped an old tortoise find water, showed a group of young zebras a safer path through the Pride Lands, and even listened to the wise words of Rafiki, the baboon, who was a trusted advisor to the king. Rafiki saw greatness in Mufasa the lion, even at a young age. "You have a kind heart, young Mufasa," Rafiki told him one day. "But remember, true strength lies not only in your heart, but also in your mind. A wise king listens to the needs of others and learns from them." Mufasa nodded, taking Rafiki's words to heart. He understood that listening and learning were just as important as being strong. One evening, when the sun was setting in a burst of orange and pink across the savannah, King Ahadi called Mufasa to a high rock overlooking the Pride Lands. "Look, Mufasa," his father said, motioning to the vast land below. "Everything the light touches is part of the kingdom you will one day protect. But remember, there are also dark places where light doesn't reach, and sometimes those are the places that need the most care." Mufasa gazed out at the Pride Lands, feeling a mix of excitement and responsibility. "I want to protect everyone, just like you do." King Ahadi, the lion, smiled and placed a paw on Mufasa's shoulder. "I know you will, my son, but a great king learns from every creature and every experience. Always remember that we are part of a bigger circle, the circle of life. It's what keeps the balance." As time went on, Mufasa grew stronger, wiser, and more thoughtful. He remembered the lessons of his father, the advice of Rafiki, and the friendships he had made with animals like Timba and many others in the Pride Lands. Soon he became known as the brave young lion who was destined to be a great king. One day, however, trouble struck the Pride Lands. A terrible drought caused the rivers to dry up, and food became scarce. Animals began to worry, and Mufasa felt their pain. He knew he had to do something, but he wasn't sure what. He went to Rafiki for advice, who simply pointed to the sky. "Trust in the circle of life, Mufasa," Rafiki said. "Sometimes we must go." Mufasa the lion decided to bring all the animals together to discuss the problem. He listened to their worries and their ideas. Together, they came up with a plan to share resources, making sure that every animal had enough to eat and drink until the rain returned. Mufasa led the way, encouraging the animals to work together. Slowly but surely, they got through the drought, and when the rains finally came, the Pride Lands flourished once more. The animals were grateful to Mufasa for his guidance and kindness. As Mufasa grew older, he carried these experiences with him. He had learned that a king's strength wasn't just in his roar or his power. It was in his compassion, his ability to listen, and his dedication to protecting every creature, big or small. Years later, when it was time for Mufasa the Lion to become king, he stood proudly at the edge of Pride Rock, looking over the land he loved. He knew he was ready to take on the role, not because he was strong, but because he was wise and cared for all who lived in the Pride Lands. And so Mufasa became one of the most respected and beloved kings in the history of the Pride Lands, a leader who lived by the lessons of the circle of life and inspired others to do the same.